Hello, I'm Angela Williams, and I want to welcome you to the Voice Up to the Voiceless podcast.
And I'm Christa Marshall, and thank you so much for being here with us today. We're excited to get into it today, right?
We are. So if you're just tuning in with us, Voice Up for the Voiceless is a podcast that addresses the issue of child sexual abuse and exploitation. And that's a really, really heavy topic. What we do on a weekly basis, we release every Wednesday, is we do a number of things. Our goal is to help educate our community on the issue of child sexual abuse, also to allow survivors a safe space and a platform to be able to share their stories, share their journey, share their healing. Yep. And then also we interview experts in the field. And in doing so, you can learn more about the work that's being done. And hopefully that too will speak into the lives of survivors and to healing. And then, of course, prevention. We would love to see a vigilant society that understands this issue on a deeper level to be able to protect the next generation of children.
Absolutely. Yep, that's great. That is great. So speaking of children, that kind of leads us into what we're talking about today, right?
Yes.
We are actually going to go right in and start talking a little bit about what it looks like to reclaim your childhood from child sexual abuse. So I don't know if you want to kind of go ahead and dive in, or what are you thinking?
If you're tuning in for the first time, I'm a survivor. I suffered child sexual abuse at the hands of my stepfather for 14 years. So that was a very long time. It started at age 3 and it didn't end until age 17. So my entire childhood was stolen. Mm-hmm. I really walked through life feeling very heavy. I had a heavy heart, always on guard, obviously, from fear of being abused again, and then on guard because you're carrying this heavy secret, and you don't want to show any signs of the secret. So you really do lose your childhood. And I didn't really have a safe person to tell. Tried to tell in a number of ways. And obviously, if someone had seen my behaviors, they would have suspected that something was seriously wrong. But many people don't know how to see those signs. They don't understand those signs. So I think I'm very passionate today about this topic of reclaiming our childhood because what was lost can be reclaimed.
Absolutely. And I think that that's one of the beauties of, like, again, as we always talk about who God is, he is such a redeemer. And I think it's so important for us to be able to lean into who he is, to figure out what it looks like to really absolutely just reclaim those things that have been stolen. You know, he turns ashes into beauty. And so I think that that's one of the things that, Angela, when I look at you, I see that. And I know that, I mean, you're not a child. We know that. But I do see the fullness of what it looks like to walk through healing from somebody that's gone through a lot of abuse as a kid, you know. And so I'm excited to really hear and kind of lean into your experience of what that looked like, because I think it's going to help so many. Again, I see your life now, and I would never look at you and say you missed your childhood. I would never ever look at you and say that. I would think that you had everything that you wanted, but God turned, you know, the ashes into beauty in your life. So I want to see, like, what did that look like? And, like, when did you first start seeing that reclaiming process happen in your life?
Well, it was in the beginning of my healing and through some therapy. That was really important to go back. And one of the things I loved to do as a child is I loved to color. And most abusers will take whatever a child loves and use it against them. So my stepfather would break my crayons. And if I would used to try to sneak coloring books in my book bag to take them to school so I could try to color at school, and he would take my coloring books and rip them up. So having to share that memory and then having the advice from the other side of the table to say, well, you need to start coloring again. And just something so simple as a coloring book and a crayons just brings me joy.
So it was.
I'm so sorry. And
okay.
I just need to apologize to our audience. I'm just off today. I've lost a really dear friend this morning. And so I'm struggling. And thank God that I have a voice that I can share my feelings. And that's one really tough thing in your childhood. When you stuff down that pain and that fear and those feelings, it becomes a habit. So in adulthood, I've tried to make a habit of telling people how I feel. And if I'm not having a good day, and today I'm not having a good day. So I just covet your prayers right now. And don't want this mascara to be running down my face, because that'll be really funny. But I just, I'm pushing through, because I know this is God's work. And I know that survivors out there need to hear from us on a weekly basis. So I'm going to push through. But if I'm a little off today, I just wanted to let you know why. So coloring, reclaiming, you walk around with a heavy heart. So doing things that lighten your heart. And year after year, I would try to give myself permission to go do something silly, like go to a park and swing. I used to love to swing. That was kind of a safe place for me in my backyard, was swinging.
Can I ask a question about that? So even as you were talking about reclaiming, like the coloring and then swinging, tell me like where, if you can remember or fully like explain it, where is your mind at when you're doing that as an adult? How is that process of coloring and swinging? What is that doing mentally to you?
Mentally, I think it's going back and reshaping those memories. I think it's and neuroplasticity is a process of kind of changing your mind, changing your thinking, just restoring what Satan meant for evil, what the devil wanted to try to take from me, is me as an adult saying, I'm in a safe place. This is a safe time. This is a coveted time. And I hope what we're doing too on this podcast is offering safe space for a survivor to really sit and think about their healing and think about what they can do to go back and reclaim that childhood. I've done things so silly as just stand in the rain and just letting the rain wash over me. Just laughter. Laughter is healing. And we lose that ability to truly laugh and connect with that silliness inside as a child when we are abused, and especially for so long. So allowing yourself permission to be silly and to surround yourself with people that are supporting your healing and in supporting those moments that you need to be silly.
Yeah, that's so true. I've seen even in adults from my clients and even my own family members that the laughter piece isn't there. They're not laughing. You know, I'm silly, so I'm always laughing. But I have seen at times where like we're in conversation and it's just a stoic, just serious face from some of my clients. And I'm like, they're not, they've learned not to be happy or joyful. And it's a learned behavior from the abuse, and it's like you said, stuffing emotions, protection, all of those things.
It's survival. It's survival mechanisms.
It's survival. And it's hard to separate from that as an adult. But you're so right. Like one of the things that I've seen and I do with my clients, like we call it out. So you're not laughing. Let's talk about that. Like, what do you want life to look like for you as far as joy and peace? And we, like you said, do silly things even in our sessions just to breathe.
Well, it breaks a pattern.
It does.
Laughter breaks a pattern.
It does.
And I've been so blessed. My husband is just a jokester. He is just a funny man. He just, his personality is funny. He loves to have fun. So just silly things around the house of him playing chase with me.
Yes.
Or him popping out from behind a door and scaring me.
Yeah.
And then us just laughing. And we have often found that if we're in an argument or disagreement, and not that we argue that often, but if we could just stop and start laughing about it, we're okay.
Yes.
It's like, this is not that big of a deal.
And how annoyed did you get though when he first started kind of trying to chase you around the house? Were you like, stop doing this?
Yeah.
Or were you okay with it?
I was okay with it because I needed it so desperately. I needed to laugh. And I think too, you asked when it all started. A lot of my pain and memories started surfacing when my children were at different ages of my abuse. And so living vicariously through them, and even today in this hard day of grief for the loss of my friend, I have my little grandson. We keep my grandson. He's 10 months old, or he's actually 11 months. He'll be 1 at the end of the month.
Oh, wow.
I know, a whole year. So just the joy I see in his face and living vicariously through him. I got in his little swimming pool yesterday, like as big as his table, and was playing with him, in the water, and just those moments to allow ourselves to laugh and to have joy and to put down. I think one of the survival mechanisms is busyness for survivors, that we keep ourselves so busy so we don't allow space in our mind to go back to hard memories into time. And I confess, I have a huge confession that I've done that. A big part of my life is just to try to stay so busy. And so I really want to encourage survivors listening to allow yourself time to go play. Just allow yourself. Put it in your calendar. I'm going to go play. And now,
budget for it.
Budget for it.
Yes.
I'm a firm believer in vacations, staycations. I'm a firm believer in, my husband and I love the water. So anything on the water, but we are big fishermen. We love to fish, trout fish, bass fish, saltwater fishing. We love to fish. We have a boat. So just find a hobby too that you can just play and be a kid again. Go to a playground, go to a friend's house that you love and pull out a coloring book. Or I always have arts and crafts in my house. Like I have this project now that I haven't finished or haven't even really started, but it's these oyster shells and I want to paint these oyster shells. So I have all the stuff to do it. I just haven't tackled it yet. And my daughter bought me a pottery kit for Christmas that I'm excited to do. I went to a pottery shop and did some pottery with clay and just loved it. Like I think working with your hands, the what is it? Kinesiology.
I know what you're saying, but I can't help
connects your mind with your body and with healing. So I just want to encourage you that you can reclaim that lightheartedness, that joy, that fun, those giggles. I was this morning. You're scrolling, kind of seeing what's up, and I got this ad for. Oh no! It was actually on TV. It was an ad on TV when I was watching the news. It was called Smoology Institute. Have you heard about it? So it's basically where you go in Atlanta. It's in downtown Atlanta, and you play with slime.
Yes, I have heard of that.
It looks like the coolest place, and you actually can go in, and they put a wetsuit on you, and the slime actually falls on you. And on
I wanted
your head.
to get slime so bad. Watching Nickelodeon when I was little, and it just fall on my head. So maybe that's how I can reclaim my childhood. Go get slimed.
I would also encourage you, go buy a toy. Go buy a slinky. Go buy a yo-yo. Go buy one. I used to love those little ping pong
thing.
Where you would bounce the ball or the big balloons you would. Go to the store and buy something that you love to play with as a child.
Absolutely.
And just play with it.
Yes. And I think one of the things that you're saying, even with your grandson, you're teaching them that it's okay to have fun. So many times we're teaching our kids a pattern of work and this, and it's like so rigid because that's how our schedules are. That little fella
doesn't know how to do anything else but have fun. He's been with grandparents for 12 months. That's all he knows how to do.
And that's good, because sometimes when you break up the monotony, especially as parents, and if there's single moms out there that have gone through sexual abuse, you will easily teach your kids how to just survive if you're just surviving. And that's all that they know. So it's another generation of a lack of joy that's being stolen from a kid because of someone else's sin that happened to you. So it's so important, especially when you do have kids, to do things with your kids. Go outside with them, run around, play. You need that as a single mother or as a mother or whoever it may be, but your kids need it too. So start teaching them things like Angela was saying, paint. Go outside and paint. Put the sprinklers on. Let them run in the round of the sprinklers. Get in the pool. Whatever you can do. Chalk. Whatever it is. Like the mess will clean up after. Like you taught me that. Like the mess.
It'll
clean
be there.
up. It'll be there. Just clean the mess up afterwards. But your kids, you're making memories so they can also have a childhood too. So
I think we're in a very kind of slave-driven work ethic society.
Yeah.
I love to travel to Europe because everything shuts down between like 3 and 5.
Yes.
That's their siesta.
Yeah.
Like, don't expect to go find anything to eat
Yeah.
during that time,
Yeah.
or you know,
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
shops are closed,
Yeah.
and then they wake up and they have a late dinner with family,
Yep.
and there's just such a closeness and a togetherness, and they allow time to rest
Yeah.
during their day.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of jealous of that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I really am. Yeah. So.
But you asked when it didn't happen overnight, and I think it was some good therapy, and it was some good, you know, I was brought up with a very strong work ethic. I was brought up to, the part of my punishment was really doing some very difficult chores. That, you know, at 4 years old, I was given a bucket and expected to weed all the way around the whole house, you know, all day. I couldn't come inside until it was all done. I couldn't get a sip of water. I couldn't. So so that's kind of ingrained in me, that really worked really, really hard. And I think working hard is a great value. It's a great value, but like anything, it can be taken to an extreme and be detrimental to your life, to your emotions. So I think to really reprogram, I don't know if that's a good word, but we kind of reprogram your thinking and your value. Your value doesn't come from your work. Your value comes from God, you know, and I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand exactly what you're saying. Just making sure that you're keeping the main thing and the main thing. And like, even when you walked in here this morning, Angela, you were like, life is so short, you know, and the world will bring tribulation. It will bring trials. It will bring hard stuff, hardships.
Had such a tragic week.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Loss.
And that also, in that, you can still have peace. You can still have joy. And that's the thing that, like, even when we kind of prayed together this morning, just peace and joy, laughter and love, even through the hard times and even through the hard memories, even through thinking about the sexual abuse that might have happened when you were a kid. Like, there is so much peace through this process when we have our eyes focused on Christ, because we know that there's so much more hope and there's so much more past the hardness right now, you know?
And if you're a survivor and you're listening to us right now, Christa and I are here specifically for you. We're here because we don't want you to waste another day in pain and turmoil and suffering. We want you to heal. So every show that we do, we painfully think about what topic would help a survivor heal.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do they need to hear? So I hope you hear our voices today. If you feel like you've lost, like it's gone, your whole childhood is gone from the abuse, I'm here to tell you that you can reclaim that joy and that lightheartedness and that silliness, and you deserve it. You deserve it. And the enemy wants to keep you bound. He wants to keep you in that pain, and we want to see you free. Yeah. Absolutely free in every area of your life, including your childhood. And I'm so sorry. And if you've never heard this before, I am so sorry that it happened to you. And I'm so sorry for that inner child, that little boy or that little girl that suffered. But it's time that their suffering ends and that they get to play.
Absolutely. That's true. That is true. And I guess before we kind of begin to wrap, one of the things that I think about that gets taken from children is the purity of their minds. You know, we talked about the joy and the laughter and all of those things, but the purity, that's one of those things that I see a lot of times with the clients, is that the way that a kid might play with other children or, you know, talk or see life, it can be skewed based on the sexual abuse that they've been through. And that's one of those things as well that can be reclaimed, is the purity of your mind. You know, so you don't have to see life through sin or sex or this person or what they can do or what they have done to you. You know, you can see life through peace and through joy as well once we start working through that healing process too.
I love what Jesus says in Matthew 18:3. He says, unless you become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. And he wasn't talking about immaturity. He was talking about trust and joy and wonder You know, just that childlike wonder.
Yeah.
So we've got some steps, some practical steps. We always like to kind of leave you with some nuggets. So I'm going to share some of these and we can just kind of unpack them together.
Yeah.
But I loved the first one so much is create a joy list. Like create a list of things that make you happy. Create a list of things that are fun, things that you love to do.
Yeah.
And then schedule them, like put them in your calendar and put them in your schedule. You know, the loss of my friend today, the first thing I want to do is reach out to friends and say, let's get together.
Wow.
Like, let's go play. Let's go do something. Because time is so precious and you don't know. She was fine last week, like a week ago. And then she went down Tuesday. And
that was it.
That was it, last Tuesday. So we don't know.
We don't know.
We're not promised tomorrow. So we got to make the most of today, and we've got to think the most of our healing journey and expedite it as best we can to get to that place of peace and that place of joy. So what's one thing that would be on your joy list?
Oh my gosh, traveling for sure.
Traveling
for sure, traveling and family vacations, couples vacations. You know, being with friends, being with people. You realize that is the most important thing. The relationships in your life. Everything else doesn't matter. You know, so the ones that are important to you, you want to spend time with. So that would be mine. What about you?
I would say the same. I love to travel, and I love to cook, and I love to just in my joy list is to be by the water, any kind of water.
Yeah.
So just give me the beach, give me the lake.
Yes.
Give me a pond.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me a stream. Put a fishing pole in my hand.
Yeah, you're good.
And I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, good.
The second one is use your senses. So there are things that if you had a favorite childhood treat, like I love ice cream. I don't eat it a whole lot because I'm always trying to watch my weight. But you know, eating an ice cream cone kind of takes me back to being a child. So, you know, you take your shoes off and walk on the grass.
Yeah.
Just use your senses. I think that's a really good part of healing and a way to connect to that inner child.
That's good.
Another one, schedule playtime. We got to schedule, and I'm not that great at this, but we've got to schedule time to play. Schedule
you kind of are good with it.
You think I am?
I think so. Like you remind me.
I'm about to get a lot better as I retire.
Yeah. I bet. But yeah, I think that you're really good at it. I love that, like you said before, staycations, vacations, going away somewhere. Like sometimes you'll ask me about like, when have you been somewhere? I'm like, you know, so yeah, no, you're good at it. You've definitely helped me.
Well,
so.
I definitely can get better at
it.
Yeah. I do like to play, but schedule that time. And right now, open your calendar. Look at when you can have a weekend away or a weekend with friends or, you know, let's just do it. I think we think, oh, I'll just do that next week or I'll do that when things slow down or I'll do that when my kids are older or I'll do that. You know, we always have an excuse. So I challenge you today to get rid of those excuses and schedule that playtime.
And enjoy, yes.
Okay. Find safe people to be silly with. We kind of talked about that. Like, I feel like I can be silly with you.
Yeah, you think?
I think I have been silly with you.
Yes, absolutely. I think so. You have to find people that are going to be like-minded and just kind of keep you young. And I don't mean young as an age, but just young in mind, you know, to where you can just let life deal with itself. Like it says in the word, like, just don't worry about tomorrow because it has its own troubles. Like, enjoy today. Enjoy today. So, yes, agree.
Okay. And then the last one, talk to your inner child. Ooh, that's a good one. I think even as adults, I think that fear can creep in, and it creeps in different ways. That fear that you felt as a child, and that kind of takes you back to that age. I say this a lot, but we are every age we've ever been. If you think about a tree trunk, and you think about all the rings of that tree trunk, which helps you identify what age they are, we are just like that. That little 5-year-old Angela, 6-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old. So if you need to talk to that inner child and tell them they are safe now, like we have nothing to fear, we are safe. And then that sets the platform to be able to enjoy whatever activity. And it's okay. Doesn't make you crazy.
Absolutely not. You have to, like you said, you have to remind yourself a lot of times, like
and
where you are.
give it to Jesus. Say, Jesus, please come into this moment.
Yeah.
If you're in a place of feeling afraid, feeling that fear, maybe you're being triggered, just invite Jesus into that moment. Just say, Jesus, I can't handle this on my own right now. I need you to come and draw close to me and give me your peace and give me your comfort. And he tells us that when we ask, we receive. Knock and the door shall be open.
It'll be open.
Ask and you will receive. He doesn't give you a rock when you ask for bread. So just get into his word and really just Google the promises of God and declare and decree those over your life. And that was a big part of my healing.
Yeah.
But becoming a child again, reclaiming that childhood, reclaiming that lightheartedness, it's a big part of your healing. It really is. And I know you've probably seen that with your own daughter.
Absolutely.
To help her to let go of that heaviness.
Yeah. And when you have a child that's gone through it and they're still a child, one of the things I had to do was lead by example, because I was feeling her heaviness so much to where I, again, stopped having fun and stopped laughing as much as I was before. And I just kind of went to a survival mode to where I was not, functioning and doing the things that we did before I found out. So I had to say, oh, okay, you know what? Stop. Let's go get ice cream. Let's go get a donut. Let's go to the zoo. Let's do these things because we were always do that stuff before. But because I was feeling so much of her heaviness and the trauma that we were going through to help her stay safe, I stopped living. So then she stopped living because she's 4, 3, 5.
And it's so time consuming.
It's completely time consuming. So
everything dealing with the whole topic, the whole issue, from the time it takes for counseling and therapy every week to the time it takes if you're going through any kind of legal system, to the time that it takes to just care for them.
Help them through their triggers at home and all of that stuff. It's a lot.
So what advice would you give moms out there whose child has been sexually abused?
The first thing that I would say for a mother is make sure you have a space to process too. Because one of the things that we do as parents is that we hold it all in to be strong for our kids. So instead of doing that, have a space, whether it's therapy, whether it's a friend, somewhere where you can just kind of release, you can cry, you can process through everything. I think that's number one, because if the kid has a strong parent, and strong doesn't mean not crying, strong is being able to, like, having the capacity to process through, right? If you're a strong parent, your kid is going to get through this so much easier than if you aren't processing. So being there to be able to process, being there to be able to be present when your child is having an emotional response, whether it's anger or frustration or they're acting out or whatever it may be, like, you have to be able to have the capacity to help reshape the way that they're seeing life too. So mom, dad, if you're a single parent and you're walking through this or not, like, you have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And then the second thing I would say is keep home as normal as possible. Okay. So you don't have to overdo it or, everything go to where you're not doing anything. Make sure that you're keeping home the place that the kids know is safe and the place that the kid know is a fun place. This is a place of safety for me. So you want home to be just as it was before, but then also have a place to be able to allow your child to open up without all the questions, without the bombarding when your child is talking to you. Just let them talk. Yeah. And if they have something that they want to say, receive it, write it down. You might need that for the legal process, but, again, you don't coach. So tell me more. What is there? Is there anything else on your mind? If they don't say anything else, be okay with that. But just be there for your child and let home be what home was before you found out about anything. The world doesn't have to turn upside down because you're going through trauma. It can be contained with peace and love with your child once you making sure that you're consistent.
And I would just like to say, and I've been in my place of being so self-consumed with the trauma and the memories and the healing, and so self-consumed that I really want to encourage you that the abuse is a part of your life.
A small part, if you think about it.
It's not your whole life. Your childhood is a small part of your life, not your whole life. So put it in perspective that you survived. And now your job is healing. But don't let it consume you morning, noon, and night. And for so many survivors, it does.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we'd like to hear from you. We'd like to hear how you maybe scheduled some playtime, what you love to do in your playtime. And I promise you, as you encourage us by commenting and sharing, but you also you encourage the community that we're building, and that's a community of survivors. So we just want to thank you so much for tuning in with us. We want to thank Mesmerize Media for making this possible. And we want to encourage you, if you'd like to sponsor our show, please reach out to us. We need your help to continue this challenging work that we're doing.
Absolutely.
So
For sure.
any ending thoughts?
Enjoy your life. It's too short to let any trauma overtake it. Enjoy what God has given you. And again, you will have trouble, but God has overcome the world. So just enjoy, walk through the processes, whatever it takes. But I think that's all that I have. And just, allow your inner child to help you grow and develop into who God has called for you to be. So,
and as I've modeled today, share how you're feeling.
Yeah.
We often get our voice taken from us when we're survivors of child sexual abuse. So part of reclaiming your childhood is reclaiming that voice, that inner child to speak how you're feeling.
Yeah.
So we thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Angela Williams.
And I'm Christa Marshall.
And we'll see you next time.
We'll see you later.